mentioned you guys heard so much about synergy and you guys the collaboration. What's it mean to you to hear that at this point?
Well, obviously it's fun for me because I have a uniqueness a little bit in this room in that I've coached in the NBA, I've coached in the old CBA, which is now the G League, and coached in the W. So you have, I think my knowledge of what it takes to build a team is respected in the room, or I wouldn't have been asked to be a part of this. I think that, my experience with Monumental since I've been here has been a progression of taking a team that was at the bottom and now trying to compete for a championship every year. I think that experience has helped, particularly, going in a new building and energizing a team that for all intents and purposes was dormant when I took over. And it's been fun to watch. I like watching things grow. It's funny how you gravitate back sometimes as a coach to being the builder, and I like that process, so this is fun.
What do you think?
I knew what his vision was. We had been
Maybe a drastic rebuild with the Wizards side of it.
I did not know.
How you looking at it? More of a retooling?
No, I think it's a combination. You have some good veteran players here, and you have a couple young players here who are growing. I think you have to put all facets in. You got to build part of it, and if you can add some veteran pieces as you go, that's a great process. But I think that you don't just throw things together. I think for whatever the old adage about patience is a virtue. It's hard in sports these days. We're in a what have you done for me lately business, but you're in a league with 30 teams and only one gets to win. So you have to work your way up to get to that point. And fans, as long as they see a team that comes out and plays hard every night and plays unselfishly and does the right thing, then you've already done the first step. And I think that was my thought when I came to the Mystics, is you build with energy. When we were rebuilding Chicago, it's nice that you can draft Michael Jordan, but one player doesn't do it. You got to get a bunch of players who buy into the concept. You got to have people who it hurts when you lose, and you're willing to do the extra things to be good. But they got to be unselfish. They got to be, lifting each other up. One of the things we talk about all the time is your job as a player is to lift up another teammate, and that's part of what we have to do.
Services that the teams here for the Mystics, particularly. What are some of the things that come to mind that you feel like can really help you guys, even more so?
Well, we've already done some of it, so I think that's, we have a leg up on some of the teams in our league. We've been able to kind of augment everything that, several years ago we were able to bring in a mental performance coach and, add to our strength and conditioning staff. We have a nutritionist. We have all those things that a lot of WNBA teams weren't able to have. It's nice to be in a new facility, but I think you also have to help them in career planning. The basketball life is really short. So do players get an opportunity to go do other things, whether they want to coach, do they broadcast, do they want to be in marketing, you do all those kinds of things. So I think that's the first thing you want to do for all your players. Do their families need something? Moving from one city to a new city, there's a process that that's uncomfortable, and try to help players through that process, and we'd like to do that with all of our teams. But I know that that's been a thing that we've tried to do with ours, and you have to do that. They've got to feel like they can turn anywhere they need to in the organization and get help for something, and I think that's the plan.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another edition of the Focus TV. We got a lot to talk about. Shout out to Mike Tebow as always. Truly appreciate that man's time. Every time we get a chance to talk to him, always pick up some type of gem. It was a special day for Monumental yesterday, so that's for the Washington Wizards, the Washington Mystics, District Gaming, and the Capital City Yoga. Ted Leonsis announced the leadership team for Monumental Basketball. It's a newly formed collective that includes the Washington Wizards, Mystics, Go, District Gaming, as I just shared. Tommy Shepard was announced. The interim tag has been removed. He is currently the official general manager of the Washington Wizards. Sashi Brown will serve as Chief Planning and Operations Officer. You might know that name from the NFL. And Daniel Medina will serve as the Chief of Athlete Care and Performance for Monumental Basketball. If you want to take in that press conference, get over to Finest Mag and my Mama Sports YouTube page. You can check that out in its entirety. Also, if you don't follow us on social media already, you should. Cardell does a great job of kind of just breaking down clips from stuff that we get, sharing some pertinent information. So if you don't want to sit there for 55 minutes and watch the entire presser, if you do, not going to judge you. But, broke down some key statements. But we got Octavia Wilder here, Cardell Dudley. I'm Wilson Tarpey Jr. Wonderful intern show is here as well. Rodney is in the building. So my question for you, Cardell, your thoughts on the announcement yesterday?
I love it. I love the new. It shows he planned thoroughly to have just restructure the whole front office, and not just restructure it, kind of adapt it to modern day, where it could benefit players in a variety of ways and get ideas from all across all the teams in the sport involved with Monumental, and it ain't just. On the basketball side, you saw Mike Thibault up there with the Mystics. A lot of people don't understand. He has a resume on the men's side in the NBA, done won chips, CBA, all that. He done been there, done that literally at every phase, every level of basketball. Brought back John Thompson the third to the area, as far as like helping players navigate off the court more, which helps them on the court because they got their affairs handled off the court. And like you said, just securing the GM, that was the main thing. Like, who's gonna be the GM? From day one, I always felt that it should be Tommy. And I like the quote that Ted said when he was like, out of the last 35 to 40 years, there's only been like 10 to 11 franchises that won championships. There's next to none that have hired GMs from outside of the franchise. They either been promoted or they got somebody from within to fill that spot and keep it going. And that's what I'm saying. You kind of need, even though they were in a bad situation, you need a familiar face of a familiar voice. If you bring in somebody new, they coming in with what they do over there in that other franchise, and they're going to come in literally just restructure everything, just try to make their mark because it's what they believe in, what their philosophy is coming from over there. And what people don't understand is I know people was just scared because like Tommy was under Ernie and whatever, but they're two different dudes. And under the real NBA structure, outside of what Ted just established, it's like career suicide to go above the person above you, your boss and whatnot. You can't be a scout and go all the way up to Ted and be like, hey man, I told Tommy to do this and all that. Man, you might as well, you're done in the league. No team's gonna trust you. So you gotta respect that. So the decision that Ernie made, even though it affected the entire Wizards, that's not necessarily what Tommy may have agreed with at that time or whatnot, but he didn't have the power to make that call. It was him. So now it's his job. I love what he's done basically with pennies to try to make moves, to try to get a roster that can be competitive this year, drafting Rui, being transparent, being there even for, talk to us, talk to the media, talk to fans to get to know him. He's a basketball guy. He's a gym rat. And, that's the one thing I can respect. He's a basketball guy. And once you are like that, everything else kind of falls in place.
Yeah, the thing I want to piggyback on is transparency.
Mm-hmm.
Good organizations, they don't have that whole thing where nobody has a clue. Like, yeah, you might not have a clue in terms of their whole plan, right? But no one's hiding. Like, you look at the Warriors or the Nets or the Clippers, you know where Lawrence Franks is, you know where Bob Myers is. You know where they are. Like, if you need to talk to them, it's not like something where, again, not to keep talking about the previous regime, where we didn't see dude. You know what I'm saying? It's a whole different type of vibe. And we've been talking about this on this show consistently because it's not only something we can see, but we can feel the change. There's synergy there.
Yeah.
We've talked in the past, the fact that you have an accomplished mind like Mike Thibault in that building, and that's not a voice that you ever go to, look at what he's done on his side of things. Yeah. Like you said, not just the WNBA side, but the NBA side. I love that John Thompson III, one of the first things before he even really got to talking, was he took the time to mention the guy sitting next to me drafted Michael Jordan.
And battled ownership to draft Jordan, because ownership, like, we need a big man.
Yep.
They wanted to trade down to get Mel Turpin. We all know Mel Turpin most famous in the league for when Jordan dunked on Stockton, and then the owner was like, pick up somebody on size. Then Jordan came down and dunked on Mel Turpin. When that's the highlight of your career, obviously you avoided disaster, and that's what it is.
Yeah, I mean, my biggest thing is just, I know this is kind of new, I guess, for like maybe this area. We're so used to dysfunction and everything like that. These are the steps you take, a good franchise takes if you're trying to get back on track.
Mm-hmm.
We saw what the Pelicans did that quickly in response to losing what they had in Anthony Davis, right? So imagine that they made those wholesale changes 2 years prior to, Anthony Davis leaving. Now you look at the situation with Brad Beal, and I'd say a lot of people are reacting to so many different things. But again, I credit the Washington Wizards for this taking place 2 years before you get to that point.
Right.
Not the year that it happens, or losing Brad and then doing it. Like, I think it's huge. It shouldn't be overlooked.
I mean, it's a different. You have to communicate with players different now. I actually saw an interview with BJ Armstrong was talking about it, and he even said being an agent and talking with front office execs and fellow agents, they're trying to figure out what is it that today's player want. It's obviously not just money, because they're turning down more money to go play with certain guys or whatnot, and it's a disconnect right now. That's what's going on, and I think that's why Ted formed this leadership group where if one person's not getting, maybe it's a disconnect between the GM and the player. John Thompson III might understand what he's saying with the player development. No, this is what, and he could bridge that gap where it can make the whole franchise successful as a whole. Whereas before, it was like, if the GM not really understand where that player is coming from, or the players not understand where that GM coming from, it could create toxic relationship, and next thing you know, they're going apart, and then it destroys your franchise. So I think that's where we're at, and you got to understand what today's players want. Now, honestly, man, if you just be honest, a lot of players may not know who they want. Honestly, they just going off what they feel at the moment. It changes without, but the thing is, you got to kind of still get an idea, understanding of like, well, these are the options that this player may go, based on the conversations and what we had, okay? And then you just move forward and make the adjustment and do the best you can.
And the last thing, the collaborative thing is huge to me too. And we talked about the previous regime where obviously all voices weren't heard in that building. Now it's something like you said, it's not falling on just one person to make a connection. You got a connection with 3 of the 5 or 3 of the 6.
Mm-hmm.
That could be enough, as long as they know that a player knows their voice is heard, and that gets to where it needs to get to. You can nip so many problems in the bud. And the other thing is, there's never anything wrong from a business standpoint of getting a bunch of really smart people to tackle issues that may come anybody's way. So, kudos to them for what they're doing. I know, it's going to be met with however it's met with in this wonderful area. It is what it is, but shout out to, we give credit when credit's due here, and gonna give them credit for reshaping their front office because it's something that needed to be done.
All right, for sure.
Wherever it goes, we'll see. But again, this is them putting themselves in a position, like you said, you might not know what players want, and some players might not know what they even want. But we've seen teams like the Nets, the Warriors, the Clippers. If you have a strong foundation as a franchise, you push yourself in a good position where even if somebody doesn't want to be there, somebody else will.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're in a bad position as a franchise, like that's the kiss of death whistle.
And the one thing that the Wizards do have a one-up on the most teams is their facilities is top-notch, like across the board for every team. So as a player, you got everything you need, in that area. Now that you restructure with the front office or whatnot, it's just building that rapport and all that. Once that rapport, and that would just take time through the battles, through the season. Once that's established, it's on the players. And that's what you really wanted. You wanted the whole focus to be on the players perform. Mm-hmm. But we wanted to get some players in here that can perform, because we don't have time to be, what's wrong with the front office? Why isn't ownership involved? We need better facilities and all that. It's just, just Ted done killed all that. Now it's getting back to, we put the focus back on the players to do their job. We're going to do ours, and that's how you win. Mm-hmm. Period.
And the last thing is, I love the fact that he reached out to like professional soccer. We saw all the time over there where, they do teams do their best to make sure the only thing the athletes have to worry about is their job.
Yep.
You don't have to worry about anything else. So once you take all that other stuff out of the equation to a large degree, that's happiness. That's less stress on an NBA player. All right, on to the Washington Mystics. They completed their season series sweep of the Atlanta Dream with a 93-65 win at the ESA. Elena Deladon Cardell had a great sweep. She got the cooking in the first half. Those shots were not hitting any bit of the rim. She had 28 points on 10 of 13 shooting. And a strong defensive effort, something we talk about all the time with the Mystics. When they have big nights, they're getting it done on that end. And I was just impressed with what they did in the first half and throughout the game to really limit Atlanta's very dangerous perimeter players. They took a lot of their airspace away, and that's why they got, were able to get a big lead. Shout out to Aerial Power, she had 17. But most importantly was the job she did defensively on Brittany Sykes. Brittany Sykes is one of the toughest players in the league to cover. To stay in front of off the dribble. When she gets downhill, it's a wrap. It's either a foul or a bucket. Sometimes it's both. But she did a good job starting from the injured Ariel Atkins. And she really showed part of her game that's developing, the catching and shooting. And it's been fun to watch a player, those players that can do so many things, then start to figure it out little by little. So kudos to her for that. And then Tiana Hawkins, 13 points, 13 minutes. Elizabeth Williams led the dream with 14 points and 5 rebounds. Nia Coffey, 13 points off the bench. And Sykes did finish with 11, but it's a good win for the Mystics. Back-to-back wins. They take on Minnesota tomorrow on the road. Then, we got All-Star break. They'll be back next week, which is why we won't be here next week, because we'll be home to host the Phoenix Mercury. But your thoughts from, that game on Sunday?
Everybody gonna look at the offense, but the defense. Because when they don't play defense, I don't care how great, when everybody's healthy, they're in the dogfight. When they strap up, that's when they blow out teams. They hung their head on defense. They were swarming, they were physical. They held Atlanta's starting backcourt, Montgomery and Bentley, to 4 of 18 shooting combined. It was just hard to win, especially with Tiffany Hayes being out. Brittany Sykes was making mental errors, so she got benched most of the first half. So they needed them to step up. And that it never happened to what the Mystics didn't allow. They held the team overall, they held the dream overall to 36.9% shooting from the field. It's just hard to win that way, especially beating a team like the Mystics when they have, all that firepower. Now that Deladon and Emma will be here, as long as they stay healthy and stuff. Even without Atkins, it's just a lot of firepower. And the thing is, Christie didn't get off. It was really Aerial Powers hitting a few threes, Cloud hit a few threes, and, Deladon doing what she does. Sanders in mid-range. It's a balanced attack. Also, the Mystics ball movement. As Coach K always preaches, the most important skill of basketball is the pass. It literally kills. It sends defensive, your defensive rotation. You just constantly moving. Eventually, somebody's gonna break down, make a mental error, make a mistake. It's gonna be either because of fatigue or they're not paying attention, and you get an open shot. That's why the pass is the most deadly thing in basketball. And the Mystics finished with 24 assists. Tolliver and Cloud combined for 13 of them. It's hard to defend because it's just like, we got to defend everybody.
Yep.
So you really have to be on your P's and Q's, and most teams are not going to be able to sustain that for an entire game, let alone possession by possession throughout the shot clock. And as for, Powers, I think she's always had this game. It's just that injuries hit her, with the wings, and she just, the last 2 years, since she got traded, she's been healthy. So she's in a rhythm. She's shown everything. She can knock down shots. I kind of want to see her get better as a playmaker, finishing that, inside in the in-between game. She's not the most efficient in that area, but she's a good free throw shooter. She can hit outside shots, and she's a very, very physical defender on top of being probably the second best athlete overall on the team behind Atkins. So she gets underneath people's skin because they can't get past her. She's tough. Like I remember she drove baseline and Sykes literally clotheslined her because she was frustrated. And she made sure she wasn't bleeding. She bounced back up, knocked down both free throws. She's tough. And, I know looks can be deceiving, especially when she talk. It look like, man, but nah, she's tough as hell. So I think that's just her game. She was a big-time addition. I'll go back to the ball, paying attention. That's why he is who he is. Their depth is what's going to keep them in range and winning the championship. They just have to stay healthy and stay focused on the goal.
I love that you brought up the depth because we talk about it all the time. But one of the things that had me going crazy, like I think in the first quarter, started tweeting a little bit about it, was Tebow got to doing a whole bunch of funny stuff with that lineup because they have their full complement of players now. In the past, the Mystics MO for a while, they have issues when teams get physical. Right. Atlanta started to muddy the game up a little bit, and he countered by going with 3 bigs and 2 wings. And that was that they went on a big spurt, and by going with 2 bigs, playing Tiana, shout out to the Pro episode 10. If you didn't check that out yet, go see why she's able to play at the same time with Emma and Elena. What that did to Atlanta was put them in a situation where everyone's on an island. And no matter what, one place you don't want to be as a big is you have to guard Em and Elena out to the three-point line. If you're slow of foot, that's tough. You talked about the ball movement. The Mystics had a team on the floor where you couldn't help off anybody. And when you can't help off anybody, everybody gotta be honest, that's tough to deal with. And Elena's going already, so you want to help off. You want to go help and try to put that fire out. But you can't leave Emma. You can't leave Tiana. I think at one time they had Powers and Shatori on the floor, and another time with that lineup, it was Cloud and Tolliver. You couldn't leave people. And what I was most impressed by what that group did defensively, they got stops with that many bigs in the game. You had rebounds, and they were just off and running. It was, I think it was like a 19-4 run to like that. It closed the first quarter to the second, and it was just crazy. So I just want to shout out that, and I look forward to the different types of lineups that can play with him having this full complement.
And the only thing I would like to see the Mystics improving in certain players, when they drive to the lane, take that contact.
Yeah.
You could tell some of them just like, and that's why they got the reputation they had, where they are, we physical, we can even the game. They drive and they avoid the contact and just throw up the shot and hope that they get the bailout call. Nah, you got to go in there. My thing is, when I play, I was just like, I'm going to hit them. You know, hit them in the air, use my body, boom, make the contact, absorb it, and then finish. Because the Mystics are one of the best, not the best free throw shooting team in the league. Take that hit, go to the free throw line, knock it down. Then that's what make them back off, because we're sending you, you're in the bonus, you're getting free points. We trying to win the game, we going to have to chill. You know what I'm saying? So take a couple hits for the good, you know, the good of the team, and eventually it pay off and whatnot. But doing that, if I'm looking at the scout report, I'm like, okay, certain players don't like contact. You know what I'm saying? We gonna use that to our advantage, and you know that's just something to watch moving forward, especially when they go up against the more dominant teams and stuff with bigs that can stay with them and do things, multiple things as well. Like kind of what's coming up now with Phoenix next week, and with Griner and Bonner. So we gonna see. And
then tonight, just a reminder, the All-Star captains are going to make their picks. Asia Wilson is injured, so she won't be playing in the All-Star game. Shout out to Nafisa Collier, that's going to be her replacement. Still, Asia will select her team along with Elena. So I think that happens tonight at 9:30, so keep tabs on that. We're going to take a quick break. When we get back, got a quick DC United update. 9450 is back, so we're going to see what move Jamaal Haywood has for us this week. And then Cardell gets to, murder us with rapid fire and all that kind of good stuff. You're watching the Focus TV. Welcome back to the Focus TV, as promised, DC United update. As we stated last week, they had two games. The first week against FC Cincinnati. No Bill and me, no Luciano Acosta in that one, but the Black and Red did have an issue. They did win 4-1. The lone goal they allowed came courtesy of a penalty kick. Lucas Rodriguez had himself a day. He scored a brace, the first of which was a really nice display of skill. It was a beautiful shot. Awkward angle from the keeper. it broke like a sinker. It was a very nice shot from the kid. Happy for him. Wayne Rooney scored his 11th goal this season. But one of the things I don't want to be ignored on this play was the very, very nice pass from Leonardo Howard. He dropped a dime, fit the ball between two defenders, and then, a legendary goal scorer did what a legendary goal scorer does. Calmly put the ball in the back of the net. In the 73rd minute, Paul Arriola finished things off, and that's what made it 4. But DC United did struggle. I don't even want to say struggle, but they dropped the second game. Sunday in Atlanta, while we were at the Mystics, they took on Atlanta United. For 88 minutes, DC United, they held things to a scoreless. It was 0-0. Wayne Rooney did not play, but he did return, as did Luciano Acosta. They looked to be on the verge of stealing a point on the road, but 2 very late goals from the home team allowed Atlanta to get 3 points. DC United's next MLS game is the 27th on the road against Chicago. They're currently 3rd place in the East with a record of 9-6-8. Tomorrow night, they host League One side Olympique de Marseille. The friendly is part of the preseason training for Marseille. Similar to the last friendly DC United had, I wouldn't expect too many of their regular starting 11 to play, considering they have another MLS game this weekend, and Wednesday is literally just 72 hours removed from their game on Sunday. So, 9-4-50 breakdown. Jamaal Haywood is back this week. This week we're breaking down a sweep back and different options off it. Again, it's a breakdown of the sweep back and the different options off it. We'll see you guys on the other side of the break.
Breakdown of what's called a sweep back. So normally if you pop out to the ring, you open up, but you left a little bigger. This is called a sweep back. So now, sweep back. The key to the sweep back is a big step to your right foot, which is on this side. So sweep back, you have an option of shot foot. Sweep back, shot. Sweep back, go right. Same thing if you right foot is a pivot foot. Sweep back, big step to the left foot. Sweep back, shot fake. Sweep back, go left. Breakdown of what's called a sweep back. So normally if you pop out to the ring, you open up, but you left a little bigger. This is called a sweep back. Now, sweep back. The key to the sweep back is a big step to your right foot, which is on this side. So sweep back, you have an option of shot foot. Sweep back, shot. Sweep back, go right. Same thing if you right foot is a pivot foot. Sweep back, big step to the left foot. Sweep back, shot fake. Sweep back, go left.
Welcome back to
Oh,
the
Lord,
Focus.
you.
Yeah, man.
We take a lot of abuse.
Shout out to Jamaal Haywood, and Cardell and I are just getting ready to, what's the right word?
It's the best time of the year.
Nah, just to prepare ourselves for 2 weeks from now when
Octavia's a big troll. She's a troll.
Oh yeah,
I
y'all
am
don't even know.
not.
She's a troll.
We gotta get something going in here during the breaks. Y'all think
gosh.
y'all think it's sweet in here. It's just
We
not
be
right.
trying to be humble. You know what I'm saying?
Nobody brags
She
about
won't
her
let
team.
us.
I don't even bring my team up.
And that's the sad part. You
Y'all
don't
goad me into it, and then I get excited.
Look at the color of her shirt. That's all I'm gonna say.
You gotta be able to sing in
I had to
2
look
weeks.
down too, like what? Can't help it. It's part of me. It's a part of me, guys.
All right, for the Piss League results this week, this was week 7. Game 1, Sniper Gang defeated Renee Strong, 69-59. Team Anonymous defeated Lady Revolution, 52-41. Sniper Gang defeated Bird Gang, 38-34. And then the Lady Eagles defeated Stay Strapped, 45-42. On to the men's. Not Me ENT defeated Goon Milk 68-67 in overtime. Gifted Athletes defeated The Firm 99-63. Game 7 featured Virginia Pride, and they beat Young Kings 90-63, so that's back-to-back blowouts right there. And then the final game of the weekend, the Museum defeated Baseline 75-65. As always, get out to Largo High School on the weekends. The Piss League, so week 8 is coming up. All right, Cardell, man, rapid fire, let's go. Let's go ahead and get this out of the way.
We're going to start with a kind of a serious one. Reports are the NBA will be opening investigations into tampering following tense owners meeting. They saying they noticed some players like Kyrie Irving with the Nets, Kemba Walker with the Celtics, and Derrick Rose with the Pistons appeared to have their next teams lined up before free agency officially began. The Celtics are complaining about tampering with Al Horford from the Sixers, and Adam Silver came out and said there will be some new rules revised in the force soon, and also Rick Buchanan, the NBA's longtime general counsel, said to the owners meeting that they pretty much will be looking to seize servers and cell phones. Normally you hear cell phones, but they're going into servers, so you can't hide anything.
From players or just everybody in the front office?
Everybody in the front office, whoever they feel. So, what are your thoughts on that?
I mean, I feel like if people are breaking rules, things have to happen to correct that. And, when they get to service, it ain't no deleting. Yeah. You can delete as much as you want, but they're going to find it. So I think it's a good thing, even if I'm pretty sure that when Adam Silver says he's going to do something, he's going to do it. But I'm saying even if they say they're going to do it and they're not going to do it, just to put that fear in people to know, like, we are not playing these games with you guys anymore. For people to, do what they're supposed to do. They're in the front office for a reason. They're supposed to be held to a higher standard. These leagues, NBA, NFL, hold players to high standards. They need to hold the front office to the same high standards as well. So I'm all for it if it, cuts down on the tampering and things are not supposed to be going on in the league. I'm excited to see who get caught, really.
Yeah, it's like anything else. We've been talking for a while. We know there's going to be some type of consequence to this type of things where, every reaction is going to, every action there seems to be the opposite, equal reaction. The league wasn't going to sit here and watch, players. Obviously, the player control is wonderful, and like anything in life, some people do not enjoy the moderation. This thing is obviously went a little bit overboard, if not way too far overboard. So where, like you said, we're talking about organizations doing their best to be transparent and everything, but that needs to be both sides. I'm sure that's how the owners would feel, how they would like this to be. Where I think I was reading something about how the Kawhi Clippers thing worked out, and that's so fresh in my mind now after what you just shared, because it was like literally things were pretty much done, just hanging over here, and technically if you're not supposed to have all that stuff going on already,
right.
Yeah, especially, it's a paper trail, ideally. So, if you can do it and keep it off wax, kudos to you. Outside of that, yeah.
You better start sending
There's
carry
consequences.
pictures.
Yeah, there's consequences to this.
They have to do something. Both sides, even the players, they can't get off scot-free. You know the rules. If you playing game, doing all that, violating, suspension's coming, or fines. So, it just have to be that way, because you got to keep parity in the league. You can't just have it. If it's gonna be hard to be a team when certain players got their foot out the door already. Mm-hmm. And the thing is, you can't fool people on that team. I don't have to call out names. You saw everybody watch basketball just like I did last year. You could see how certain teams just went to hell despite their talent, because certain guys on the team felt like other guys were already out the door. And you can't be talking about, you're a leader or one in the lead and stuff like that. Like, homie, you already gone. I'm not trying to hit it. I'm doing me. We over here. You be over there. And it creates toxic, and you basically wasting a year, a whole season off players' career, off teams' careers, off everybody involved's career. And the thing is, next year is not guaranteed to be successful. So you got to take advantage of what is there. And so, they have to do what they have to do, man. Both sides, they got to do something, because it's just, this year was just beyond crazy. You could just see it. And I'm not mad at him going to the extreme. Like, oh, we going in the service, we going up. You know, so if you on the up and up, you ain't got nothing to worry about. Not.
Should be scared.
Yep. Timmy, no, I'm gonna go over here. Washington Redskins cuts Mason Foster. The middle linebacker started all 16 games last year, finishing with 131 tackles, 81 solo, 50 assists, 2 interceptions, and 2 fumble recoveries. What are your thoughts?
What they cut him for?
You asked me decisions of what the Washington franchise makes.
I mean, I guess my question being is, was there an off the field incident? Is he not showing up to, TAs?
Probably money, but it didn't disclose why. People were trying to elaborate saying like when he called out the front office a couple of years ago, they held it, they kind of holding against him, they getting him back now because he had a good year. I guess they, was coming up to time to, I need that money. They like, nope. And that's kind of what I'm reading, but who knows?
You're right. Yeah. It leads me back to what Wilson says all the time.
I can't take credit. Shout out to my man Owen Reese.
I'm sorry, but
Owen's words
to him as well. Bad teams stay bad. I don't know. It's starting to become a trend for them as well. For whatever reason it is, they're cutting good players. I don't know if it's we just talked about front office and personnel and how they're looking at the structure of teams. I don't understand it. I mean, if it's for the money, I guess because money's a part of the business and it's a part of how they operate in the NFL. But until I have like some concrete proof of what happened, because from this report it's saying like they told him this the day he was reporting. Like, I'm at the facility and you're like, oh yeah, we already cut you, we waived you, bro. Like that, and that in another sense is showing me bad, front office work, because why would you do that to a person? These are still players, but they're still people at the end of the day too. To have somebody come in like that and what the thought process, I'm ready to go to work, I'm ready to get this season started, and then their whole lives are flipped upside down in a mirror of minutes. That's crazy. I feel like that definitely should have been handled differently. Number one, if they have a legitimate reason of why they were going to waive him, they could have given him the courtesy of doing that beforehand.
My only issue was they let the dude report. You knew you moved on when you signed John Bostic. I think that's the kid they got, or the player they got, a linebacker. So you knew at that moment, you were done with Mason. So you should have told him at that moment. But from a football standpoint, yeah, it's a. Don't they have Rob Ryan as a defense coordinator? It's a Rob Ryan defense. Mason Foster cannot play in this. So I get why he can't physically do what's going to be asked out of him in a Rob Ryan scheme. But again, this is the way that they did it, the way that they went about their business is trash. You don't do that. That's the only part I have the issue with. When you signed John Bostic, you knew dude's days were numbered. You could have told him off the early so he get a chance to look around the league and his agent get a chance to do what they need to do.
Yeah. So
I feel like the way you handled it was extremely petty. So that's what I have the issue with. But from a football side, I didn't think he was going to be here anyways, as soon as they hired Rob Ryan.
But I also think of like this. A lot of times coaches, I feel like they got to adapt too. Just because you have a certain type of system you like, if you got a productive player, you need to mold that system so he can thrive too.
Right.
Why let him go? He's crazy productive. Started all 16 games last year. The Ravens have had bad luck with injuries across the board for years, man. So you got a durable guy that produces at a high level, and you just gonna let him walk for nothing. That's easy to replace, especially for this team. That makes no sense to me. The best coaches adapt to what they have, regardless of what their system are. And average and mediocre coaches or below, they're always looking for jobs, do it my way or the highway.
And that's why I'm not surprised by, like you said, those types of coaches, right?
Yeah.
We've seen them do it in the past. Yeah. They get to places and people just start going out the door.
All right. Ben Simmons, Philadelphia 76ers, showing off his shooting progression in the Instagram video. Are you sold that he will be a much improved shooter this upcoming season? He last made a 3, November 30th, 2015,
I'm mad there's a date.
against Charleston when he was at LSU.
I'm really mad there's a date.
I'm just trying to.
I'm just mad.
He's giving you the backstory.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I believe he will. For one of two things. One, he has to. He has to get better. At the stage he's in now in his career, he's no longer a rookie. He is the forefront of their team alongside, of course, with Embiid, but he has to. There's no more room for error. There's no more trust in the process. They have to get over the hump. Like, that's what they're looking into, especially since they gave him this extension. They gave him this extension. They gave him this money. They want to see results, as they should. So I feel like he has no choice. He has to. He has to get together. It may not be a drastic improvement, but it has to be an improvement. Like you said, the last time he made a three was in 2015. That's unacceptable, just because of who he is. He should be able to at least make one, but I do think that he will improve. I just think that's the type of person he is, just from seeing him play. He seems like a dog, he wants to get better all the time, and I definitely think with this money that he just got, it put a little fire under him, hopefully.
Yeah, I know Cardell said this before, he just needs to take them. Like, for me this year, I don't need you to make 73s.
That's true.
If you do, that's cool, that's wonderful, great. For me, like, if you make at least 20 of them, I'm cool. Like, I just need you to attempt them enough to keep the defense honest. So where, even if you hit a couple, say you shoot 30% from three, right? That changes the way teams play you. Literally, there's so many dudes in the league who literally shoot 30%, but the off chance that it goes in, like, you have to worry about. It stretches the floor, it keeps people defending you honest, at least that you're taking them.
Mm-hmm.
They start to go in, you start to feel good, you get on a little roll. It's a little bit different, but
yeah.
You have to at least get to the place where you're taking.
Right, for me, he's showing the video he can make it. I've seen him make it in high school, hit jumpers in college. I think for him it's just mental. And it's cool that he's doing it in the workout, even with other NBA players, but that's when you kind of more comfortable. It's not in front of 20,000 people screaming and hollering. Mm-hmm. They're not scouting for you. They're not literally trying to get in your head where they move the ball to you, you outside three-point range. My man at the elbow in the paint, he just stopped.
Like, what's up?
Turn his back to you and get ready to try to get the rebound, like disrespecting the hell out of you. That's when it's gonna be the ultimate test. And if he start hitting it in there, obviously just taking it, like you said. If he take it, then I know he's at a different place mentally and stuff. If he don't, then we know, like we see with a lot of NBA dudes on the summer, they put out these videos and the season come, man, it don't add up.
It don't look the same.
It don't add up. You know what I'm saying? So I know he got it in him. It's just mentally, will he stay disciplined and be mentally tough enough to just stick with it, even if he's missing, don't get down. Just have amnesia, you know what I'm saying? Like, I remember Ray Allen always said when he missed, he's a great shooter. He said when he missed, he was just like, something wrong with the rim. He just refused to believe it's him. And you got to kind of have that mentality that, like, it ain't me, though. Y'all need to fix y'all rim. And that's how you got to be. Once he gets that, he'll be fine. On to the WNBA real quick. Lynx rookie Lafiza Collier is replacing injured aces for Asia Wilson for the WNBA All-Star game. Collier is averaging 11 points, 5.9 rebounds, 2.3 assists. The league announced the move on Monday. Collier joins Minnesota teammate Sylvia Fowles and Odyssey Sims in Saturday's game in Las Vegas. It's the seventh time the Lynx have had three or more representatives at the All-Star game, the most of any team in league history. What are your thoughts?
I mean, that's big, for the WNBA All-Star game to not be as big, as big of a following or whatever you want to call it, to know that one team has had that many players, is amazing, because a lot of teams don't get that. You get one or two, a lot of players don't, a lot of franchises don't get that many players. So it speaks to the culture that they have there, and it speaks to their team, and it speaks to their coaches, and it speaks to their front office to be able to produce players like that. So I think it's a good look for them. It's a good look for the league. It's a good look for everybody, really.
Shout out to Cheryl Reeves, she did it again. That's all it means to me. It validates what they did on draft day. All they do is draft winners. And yeah, you would think that in a situation like this, they wouldn't have three All-Stars, right? You got a year where Simone's not there, Lindsay's gone, Maya's out for the year. Shout out to that culture, shout out to Cheryl Reeves, shout out to what they built.
Rebecca.
Right, like there's so many key pieces missing from the Lynx as we know them. We talk about with San Antonio all the time, like how they were able to stay in contention and retool and just stay stay relevant, no matter even quote unquote their downtimes. They would have moments like this in their downtime. So just credit what Cheryl Reeve has done over there, and then credit Nafisa Collier to come in, go to work, and produce.
I mean, from day one,
Yeah.
when I went up to cover the draft, I was just like, they got one. Because when Maya Moore was sent out, I'm like, look, obviously she's not going to be able out the bat be Maya Moore. No one's saying that. But she going to definitely lessen that blow a lot, you know what I'm saying? And coming from the same program and all that. And we called that from when we talked. I didn't even leave the building we talking about it, and she's lived up to it. We even went so far as to say maybe she should have been featured more in college. You know what I'm saying? I mean, if she was, she probably would have been the #1 pick, you know? So, because the one that's featured in college hasn't been a blip from her. You know what I'm saying? It's been a hard transition. So, you know, she's built for it. She's built for it tough. She always had that game. Just happy to see her get rewarded for it. You know, normally they kind of hard on rookies getting that all-star nod. You got to be doing some extraordinary things to kind of get in. Because, you know, they don't want to ruffle feathers with the vets and stuff like that. But, you know, she's earned it, you know. And all you do is give respect where it's due. Ex-Tar Heels, 7th Woods, says he's comfortable back home in South Carolina. The 6'2" Woods expected to be a collegiate force when he finished Hammond School in Columbia, South Carolina, and picked the Tar Heels over Georgetown, South Carolina in 2016. Instead, Woods was a backup during his time with the Tar Heels. He was part of North Carolina's title team in 2017, but never averaged more than 11 minutes or 3 points a game during his 3 seasons at Chapel Hill. Woods missed 17 games with a broken foot during his sophomore season, averaged 2.5 points, 2.1 assists last season as backup to freshman lottery pick Kobe White. In April, Woods posted on social media that it was time for a change. He would sit out this upcoming season per NCAA transfer rules and return to the court in 2020 and the 2021 season. Go ahead.
I always say you got to do what's best for you. If he feels like that was the move to make for him, where he feels like he could progress and produce more in a different environment, I say, you know, hats off to him, because a lot of people can't even make those decisions. They would rather just kind of ride coattails or, you know, just stay in a position that they don't feel like is working for them, but it may benefit them, you know, just to kind of be there. I applaud him for taking the leap, you know, to step out, you know, do what he feels like is best for him. Hopefully it works out. You know, a lot of times situations, you know, you feel like may work out, they don't. But like I said, I give him props for, you know, taking the leap to do it.
I mean, it's just show us time. You know, like, obviously a lot of hype coming out of high school and whatnot, but it's put up or shut up time. You know, what is this, your last year eligibility?
Basically.
Coming up? Yeah, it's just, there's really no more talking for me. Just interested to see what he can do with this last opportunity on a collegiate level.
I just feel like he's the first one in this social media explosion, the first kid that was really overhyped. And it's no fault of his own. He just hooped. But they pegged him as the next superstar, and that just goes to show you how many people are off with evaluations. Yes, he was dominating at high school. Like I tell people all the time in high school, if you're crazy talented, you can look like a future star. But you're playing against kids that may not even should be on, like, playing high school, or really just out there just for it, you know, just because they can. Like, you know, like the football player. His sport is football, but he's just out there to stay in shape and play. They're not taking it as serious as when you get to college, everybody, they were the man on their team, or wherever they came from, they were the man, or top 2, wherever. So you have to ball now, and that's the difference. And when the success don't come, you know, his athleticism and all that, but that don't mean you can play the game. That don't mean you have all the skill. For one, he was 6'2", doing all that. And when he got to North Carolina, you realize the point guard is just as big as you, if not bigger, and he's not having that. And he kind of got exposed. So I just blame the social media for overhyping things and stuff. And you know, it kind of need to go back a little bit. And people think it's old school, but I doubt it happened. It need to go back to your. It's hard to say that he didn't deserve, because he did ball in high school. You can't say that. But chill with the comparisons and the overhyping, man. Just like, he's a good prospect. We'll see when he get to college. And then that way it will protect the kid, because obviously that's tough mentally when you peg to be up here, and the reality is like, man, I'm really not there. Like, I'm not as good as I thought I was, and everybody sees it. Everybody knows it. So hopefully he can rebound South Carolina. But like you said, time to prove, you know, show and prove. It is what it is. gonna get back to the Wizards. Obviously, they offer Brad Beal the extension. It's two variations from what I've learned. It's a 3-year deal for 111, and then it's a 2-and-1 deal for an option for 1 year after these two. Do you think he should sign with one of them? He has until October to sign officially. So do you think he should sign one of those two or possibly look elsewhere?
I mean, with all the front office changes that they've done, and as much as I feel like they have been there for Brad Beal, I think he should sign. But I always feel like it goes back to if it's going to work out for him and his family, number one. But, I feel like they've put all the faith, in him. They've given him, the words of encouragement, because like a lot of players don't even get, those words to come straight from your owner's mouth to say like, we're not letting you go nowhere. To have that type of confirmation and that type of, real words, with somebody, you will hope that he's able to believe it and he's able to, receive everything that was told to him and take that into consideration and really realize that that's where he wants to be, if that's where he wants to be. From everything that I've seen from him, it seems like that's where he wants to be. He wants to be here. And hopefully, for the Wizards' sake, and the fan base, y'all should pray that he does resign.
Yeah, for me, from a business standpoint, for him personally, if he doesn't resign, like I understand it. Like,
True.
you can get more money, right? But what this does for me, like I saw to Mike last night, my biggest thing for your organization, say he takes this early extension, it speaks volumes to what just happened, what we talked about at the beginning of the show, with their front office in place, right? That speaks volumes that you're willing to buy in this early because, we've heard him talk about it before, money's not the issue, but again, if that's where it really is, we heard him talk about issues at the top. If you believe, it's just like a big, I guess what's the right word, they extended the olive branch once Tommy became interim GM, right? So I read like the draft party, round draft workouts. It's just one of those things where if he takes it early, again, it's just left to the front office. If he doesn't take it, also it's not an indictment on the front office. What I do like is that there's 2 years left on this deal, right? These changes are made. You literally have 2 years, made these changes to live up to what you get to show them what you said you're going to do. And if you choose to leave after that, it is what it is. But again, your organization's in a better place and than it was prior to this for if he goes, because it's one thing, think about the previous regime. We get to this point, man, we're already thinking, oh, he's out of here, right? The fact that here, we're not, like, you can't close the door on it is huge to me. So if he takes it, it's just added confirmation that Shep and company, they're the real deal, and they get through. It gets through to their big horses here. Like Octavia said, they've made it clear throughout this whole thing. John and Brad, what they want to build this thing around. They want to retool this thing around. So, it's just, for me, it's not an indictment if he doesn't.
I'm with y'all, both of y'all. I hope he stays. I really don't think people understand he's a rare dude, man. He's a rare franchise guy. Like, it's not even just his game on the court. It's just how he conducts himself as a man. You know what I'm saying? You don't find too many dudes like that. You don't have to worry about him at all. Like, nothing. You see what I'm saying? Got his priorities straight. He just he's only like 26, but he got the maturity of like a middle-aged dude. Like I said, he on grown man status as a youngin. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta respect that, and that's the type of culture builder that you start with when you're trying to build a certain type of culture. Where you come here, man, you put in this work, you handle business. We ain't here for all that other stuff. You about that? Don't come here, or you can't be here. It's as simple as that. So I hope he signed, but also, like you say, I understand what he got to do is best for him and his family. He owed it to himself to seek out opportunities, see what else is out there or whatnot. But if he said, I believe in here, believe in what the Wizards are doing, I'm going to just do that, I'm definitely cool with that, because I really do believe they're behind him. Like, think about it. And the grass ain't always greener going elsewhere either. We've seen that. You know what I mean? It's just, like, literally, everything is his. Like, you the guy. Everybody looking at you. You can't get that no more. And to give that up for maybe a chance, for a maybe, and now with this new front office, they driven to do whatever they gotta do to try to get players in here to help them win. And that's all you can ask for as a player and stuff like that. So, And clearly, going elsewhere, you can't rely on your peers in the league to rock with them because they can up and be like, I want to get traded right then and there. Like, after 1 year, then you stuck. And so that's scary as well when you kind of got some familiarity or foundation here. It's just tough. He got a lot of tough decisions to make, man. But, you know, I'm just happy that the Wizards ain't just, all right, man, he ain't going to be, you know, give him, you know, they're trying to keep him here. Because I think they recognize the type of rare dude he is. And it's no, like across the league, it's no telling when, as good as he is, he's not a diva. It's a lot of qualities about him that is the love, and it ain't no telling when you're gonna get another Brad Beal coming down the pipeline, and he's developed here. That's what makes me even more like, man, this is you. So, but you know, we'll see, man. You know how they go. Tim Duncan joins the Spurs as an assistant coach. Duncan is the Spurs all-time leader in points, rebounds, and blocks, and is the only Spur to be on every one of their championship teams. Ideal hire.
Ideal, without a question.
Yeah, well, she said, I don't think it's any more words.
Big fundamental, man. I mean,
It's like, it can't get no better. Like, them to learn from him, anything he has to tell them, it'll help them.
I mean,
Sure.
yeah, and I'm looking at LaMarcus Aldridge. He should be. I mean, he kind of always been there, but now it's gonna be daily. I mean, because LaMarcus Aldridge is talented, man. Like they kind of don't talk about him.
Basically like a little baby Timmy.
Yeah, but he just ain't got that post game like him in that dog. That's something Tim can possibly bring out of him. Because if he gets to that level, Spurs are a totally different animal. Then you got the young boys out there, man, with DeJounte Murray coming back and Lonnie Walker and stuff like that. It's just, you know, you got Rudy Gay there. It's just a matter of if he. To me, it's all, for that team is all just because he's dominant. He can step out and shoot the three. He can do all the things the new age bigs can do. But he kind of fit the mold of a Tim Duncan, whereas he's not the most athletic big, but he got great size, man. He get that post game, in between game, post game straight, add a few more moves with what he got perimeter wise. You know, they can surprise some teams and stuff, especially with the coaching that Pop has. So, number 1 overall pick, Zion Williamson signs with Jordan Brand, joining a family of 50+ athletes across multiple sports. You know, he's the latest addition to the brand. He said, I feel incredibly blessed to be a part of the Jordan Brand family. Since I was a kid, I dreamed of making it to the league and having the type of impact on the game Michael Jordan had and continues to have today. He's one of those special athletes I looked up to, and I really can't express how happy and excited I am for this journey. Williams' addition, you know, caps a great summer for Jordan Brand, where they included Jason Tatum, Rui Hachimura. In the WNBA, you got Asia Durr, Kia Nurse, and in the NFL, you got Dwayne Haskins. Jordan says Zion's incredible determination, character, and play are inspiring. He's an essential part of the new talent that will help lead the brand into the future. He told us he would shock the world and asked us to believe him. We do. Thoughts on that?
I'm not surprised at all. I figured that would be where he ended up. And it's kind of perfect, honestly. You know, he's the perfect fit, like the quote said, to take them into the next, you know, generation. I'm sure the buzz around him, as far as us in media and, you know, people of a certain age who like really, you know, watch the game, is there. But it's such a different dynamic when you have those kids who are middle school, high school, who are honestly their target market. You know, these are the ones who's going to be, you know, bothering their parents up and down. Like, I want these shoes, I want these. Like, it's the perfect fit. Like, I definitely saw this coming.
Yeah, that brand doesn't just go after anybody.
Nope.
So all the names that you listed with the young players that just became part of their roster, there's something in common. There's a common there with all those. It's not just the talent, it's the way that they go after, the way that they work on their craft.
Mm-hmm. The work ethic, yeah.
And yeah, I'm not shocked at all, especially when, you know, how many times did we hear through college, favorite player was Mike, all he ever talked about. And anytime he brought Mike up, it wasn't the offensive side of the ball that he talked about. He routinely talked about what Mike did on the defensive end. To me, it's not a shock. Yeah, this is what it is for me.
I like it, you know. I know Doogie's in their feelings, man. How you went with the Tar Heel, but you know, I mean, it's the perfect blend. Who better to learn from than the GOAT? You know, on and off the court, the brand, you getting lessons. I know they competitors when they, you know, when Charlotte beat New Orleans or whatever, but at the end of the day, that's what you got to scout your team for, to try to combat all that. But like I said, it gets no better than learning from him, you know, who's achieved everything there is to achieve in basketball, period. And, you know, to have him kind of under your umbrella, you know, it speaks volumes, man. So it's just up to him to put the work in and live up to the billing. And I think he will.
All right, well, we want to thank everybody for tuning in. Fun show. We will not be here next week again. We'll be working Mystics game next Tuesday. When we come back, the first installment of Octavia's 2019 NFL segment.
Why don't we just call it the Eagle segment?
You might as well. Let's just go with
see?
See?
She let it out there. It finally free.
See how I didn't bring it up, right?
She finally free.
So, we'll be back in 2 weeks with our first installment of our weekly Eagle segment.
Yes.
Here on the Focus TV. As always, get over to finestmag.com or monosports.com and follow the Focus TV all across social. See you guys in 2 weeks.